Welcome to another episode of the Profitable Home Services Podcast. Once again, I'm so glad that you're joining us today. We have another exciting guest for you. I'm looking forward to the information and the content he has to share with us. Today's guest is Richard Cruz, and he is a plumbing and HVAC marketing specialist. So we're going to say, Richard, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Diane. It's really great to be here.
As we were talking offline prior to hitting that magic record button, we were talking a little bit about some of the pitfalls that plumbers and HVAC businesses come across when they're trying to do marketing. And I'm going to say the biggest one is they throw spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. And you probably see that. And it's oozing its way down the wall, and it's not a pretty sight. I come in from the accounting standpoint and going, you're spending how much money doing what? And because they don't know what their ROI is, they don't know if they're getting any leads from it because they don't have any way to track it. So, how are some of the ways we can avoid some of these pitfalls and maybe backing up even and identifying from your perspective, what are some of the pitfalls?
That's a really great question. Diane, internet marketing has really changed in that in the old days, it was so much simpler, right? The yellow pages, and you run ads and you run bigger ads if you want the phone to ring more. And there was a single lever and it was so easy. Today, there's so much information moving so quickly, and there's so many different experts saying to do this, do that, and the latest, trend and the latest SEO tactic. And you got people saying that SEO, works great, and you got people that say that SEO is dead. And the truth is that it really comes down to understanding that the landscape consists of Google primarily first, and how to be able to utilize Google the right way to where you have a balance of real estate that you own versus real estate that you rent. If any home service professional is looking at Google as a product, you're making a mistake and you're bleeding cash. It's not, oh, I'm going to do SEO, oh, I'm going to do PPC, I'm going to do LSAs. No, it is looking at the entirety. There's 4 funnels that are inside of Google, and making sure that you're diversified. Any good financial planner will tell you to diversify, diversify, diversify. And so you want to treat your online presence the same way. You have an opportunity to literally own online real estate, and you want to make sure that you're renting online real estate, but you're using them in a way that you have a really balanced approach. What that means is you wind up being extremely profitable. I can't tell you how many times I've seen companies that are just working for Google. And it's the saddest place to be, where Google can become a great money pit. And you're either working for Google or you understand how to be able to utilize Google to serve you. And the way to do that is to be diversified. And you'd be shocked at how many home services businesses never even get that. And they're throwing mud against the wall, hoping for something to stick. So to answer your question, the money leaks really come from understanding Google and having a very strategic approach to be able to get Google to serve you versus the opposite.
So, Richard, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I'm a home service business owner, though in reality I'm not, but we'll say I am. I've got a crew to run. I've got somebody that called in sick and didn't show up. So now I got to get out there in my truck and either install or service whatever I have to do. I've got the phone ringing in my office, but probably not as much as I'd like it to be. Oh, by the way, I've got a sick kid at home, and my wife wants me to come home early because I got a sick kid at home. And you want me to understand Google? How?
That is such a good question. And I love the way that you pose that, because that's the reality, right? You're wearing many hats, and you're a family person, and then you're running a business. And it's not so much of you understanding how to, how to hit every single button. It's just like a leader knowing how to be able to find, hire, and train good leaders to be able to delegate and run your company. to be able to connect with somebody that understands marketing at an extremely high level and can help you formulate a strategy and a game plan that's going to help you become profitable. You understanding the basics, you must understand enough about the balance of owning online real estate and renting online real estate and where the quadrants are at. And if you can understand it, now you can delegate that to somebody that knows how to be able to hit the right buttons, pull the right levelers so that you become extremely profitable. If your competitors are able to acquire customers at a fraction of a price lower than you are, you're going to always lose. In the end, it's he who can acquire the most customers at the lowest cost is going to become the winner. And you don't do that by being completely unaware. Be aware enough to know what the targets are and then find the right person that has the right skill sets to help you get there.
So my follow-up question is going to be, how do I find the right person? This guy says, I'm amazing. This person says, oh, no, I'm more amazing. And this one says, hey, I got it all figured out. Come talk to me. But somebody over here is saying, wait a minute, I've got the answer. How do we know who to find? I know
Mm,
in one of my books, I devoted a chapter on how finding the right accountant is like dating your future spouse. How does that apply in your world?
yeah, that's a really good question because it can become very, very confusing. And that's the reason why in my book, it's called The Profit Making Plumber, I broke down for any plumbing, HVAC, electrical, or home services professional to know what the core things are that they should be looking for online. And I don't have time to go into the details of the book, but the book really breaks down the right components that should be included. And if you find, again, now it's, doing your due diligence, finding somebody that's qualified, but you want to make sure that they are able to hit those buttons and understand them well. I think the other one as well too is like for us, we developed a system. It's called the Plumber 10X system, and the plumber technic system was developed to make sure that it hits every single box. It's like a pilot. If you've ever seen a pilot's checklist, it's got hundreds of checklist items. Those guys have usually done tens of thousands of flights, like you and I, when we get in our car and we hit the ignition and we go. They can do the same thing, but they will never, ever, ever leave the tarmac without going through the checklist just to make sure that everything is checked, because there's too much at stake. To leave one thing missing could have catastrophic results. It's the same way with digital marketing, is that if you have somebody who really understands Google and that is very systems and processes oriented, that can literally show almost like a checklist of every single step, that there's a system that does it, not just, okay, give me money and it's gonna be like fairy dust. In like 9 months, you're gonna be rich and you're gonna be number one on Google. The fairy dust is usually the biggest mistake that most people do, is just believing those promises. It's having a methodology that is really laid out in the book, and someone who really has a very specific checklist, systems, processes that create results in those important areas.
I love your use of systems and processes. That's music to my ears. And I think a lot of my listeners feel that same way as they realize the importance of a system and a process behind everything that we do in business if you want to be successful long term. Yes, I've got a few people, that have managed to get to where they are without systems and processes, but it's not sustainable. And so I'm glad to see that carry over into the marketing side, because without systems and processes, how can you ever get the same result from your effort? Whether it's installing an HVAC or installing a water heater for a plumber, or whatever, putting a roof on for a roofer. I mean, whatever it happens to be, how can you get the same result if you don't have a process for how it gets done? So it makes me extremely happy when you're talking about systems and processes.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you marry systems and processes in marketing and you look at what you're going to pair it with, you take a look at the most unbelievable, most powerful search engine in the entire planet, the most powerful search engine in the history of the world, which is Google, where 80% plus of the leads will come from any home services contractor. And when you look at it, it's a machine. There are certain buttons, certain aspects. It's a checklist that goes off. And so only through really healthy, specific systems and processes that check every box, right? And give Google what they want. If you become a darling of Google, and it's by those systems and processes that check all the boxes that they need, because Google is not a myth. They put out there, these are the things that I want you to do. This is where I want to make sure that you have your site speed. This is the way I want you to make sure that you lay out your page. This is the things I want you to index. These are the ways that things that we're looking for. They don't make it a mystery. They're not trying to cause anybody to fail. They're giving you the keys to the kingdom. It's through really healthy systems and processes that you check every single box. Now you're able to really, really grow healthy versus wondering why traffic is up and traffic is down, or why your acquisition costs are so much higher than anybody else's. Systems and processes. That's the magic key. We may be able to put that into your money bucket as well too, because it really is the key to making money.
It is, yes. And in many, many aspects of a business, we must have systems and processes, whether it's training a new employee, whether it's training your team on a new product or a new service or a new whatever, systems and processes, whether it's in your numbers, knowing your financial numbers and understanding them, or something as simple as your customer service, which really isn't that simple. It needs to have a system and a process behind it. Your CSRs have to have a system and processes behind them as well. So it's everywhere in our business. And I'll say it again, it makes me extremely happy that you're using these same systems and processes on the marketing side. Because if I can get them to create a checklist over in the rest of their business and know that we're hitting and able to check off these boxes, and you can do that on the marketing side, that makes a very strong team, or the beginnings of a very strong team for any home service business.
100%.
And team is where it's all about. You surround yourself with these people that have the skills that aren't your skill set. And I'll
Correct.
say I'm the first one. I know enough about marketing to be dangerous, but I could not put together anything like you guys do. That is not in my league, and I hire a lot of help to fulfill my own team. And we all have to do that so that we're getting the best possible information that we can and running our businesses as profitably as we can.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Your home services contractor, your plumber, your HVAC guy, your electrician, they are not going to understand the financial advice that you're able to give to them. You are that valued team member, that guide, if you will, right, to keep them from making crucial mistakes. Having a great, financial person, having a great attorney, having a great marketing, expert. There's certain ones where, again, you need to know enough of the basics, how to be able to hire the right person that you can trust to be able to get you the right advice and move you in the right direction. Crucial.
Very crucial, yeah. And I love to bake. And so I always look at it as, if I'm going to make a batch of amazing cookies, it takes more than just flour and sugar to make that work. You've got to have some butter or shortening. You've got to have flour, sugar. It might be some oatmeal, it might be peanut butter, it might be chocolate chips, it might be something else. But when you pull it all together, you can create a really yummy cookie. Same type of thing in your business. If you don't have all the right ingredients or the right people on your team, then you end up with something that's tasteless and flat, and it's not profitable.
Yeah, 100%. What a great analogy. You're right. There is, we have a lot in common. You love to bake, I love to eat. Um, I would call myself a foodie. I love great food, and I will drive many miles to find a restaurant that has lines going all around the corner, because I just have a really great appreciation. But every time when you find a place that has really great food, it's because somebody did the preparation with extreme attention to detail and quality, and you can taste it, you can see it. Same thing like you're talking about right there. Yes, I'm a big believer, right? Your recipe, kind of like the pilot checklist, right? If you will, back to the systems and processes. It is the foundation for success, and it's crucial. You cannot ever succeed in business if you don't have that.
And I'm going to say, I know that some of the home service businesses owners that are listening to this are probably saying, but wait a minute, I'm not gifted in details and being able to create systems and processes. So what do I do now? I'm just sunk. I'm out of luck. You guys are talking about systems and processes equals profit. I'm out of luck. So what would we suggest for somebody who's thinking that? Because I can just hear the wheels are turning in their head. They're thinking that thought.
Yeah, absolutely. A big believer is in hiring to your weaknesses. There's no need to hire, like you will never build a successful plumbing, HVAC, electrical, or home services company, on your own. You have to have a team. You talked about the team earlier. And why hire somebody who's an expert in your favorite things to do and the things that you're the strongest at? Hire at your weaknesses. For me, operations, I hate operations with a passion. So for that reason, I made sure that I sought out the very best, brightest director of operations that I could possibly find and chief operations officer that I could find, so that our operation systems, they are beautiful. I have no clue how those people's brains work. They have attention to every single, and I respect and I admire and I love them, but it's a team. There is no way. And so every time that, and the other thing too, and I think a home services contractor needs to not only remember to hire to their weaknesses, but what are the things that drain you?
Yes.
And I know that there are certain parts of the company that I could live in all day long, Diane. I enjoy certain aspects. There are other parts of the company that just will literally drain me. I am ineffective. I'm the last person that should be in there. That's the role that I need to be hiring at and finding the best, brightest person to be able to fill that. Now I can build a company that's going to run efficiently without me, that's going to deliver the greatest service possible, and I could stay in my zone of genius. And that's where I want to live. And so your home services contractors have to be able to be honest with themselves and really self-assess. And any entrepreneur, it's a must. You will never grow if you don't know what your strengths, what your weaknesses are, and start hiring to those weaknesses.
Well, and then we're going to come around to the whole formula of what is my time worth? So if I'm doing those tasks that drain me, am I using the best use of my time? Or should I be delegating my marketing to somebody like you, my numbers and getting help in that area to somebody like me, finding an admin or somebody like that who will help follow along behind you and dot your I's and cross your T's for you, surrounding yourself again with that team and knowing what the value of your time is and making sure that you're staying in those duties, those tasks, whatever that fall into that range of value. And
Mhm.
you're not the one out there sweeping the parking lot when you should be creating um something educational that can get posted out through a social media account or something along those lines.
Yes.
Different uses of your time have different values.
Absolutely, 100%. Dan Martell in his book, gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but he talks about buying back your time, and it was one of the greatest books that I ever read on that. That really opened my eyes on that. And he said, to calculate, what is when you take your salary, you take your distributions company, what your net hourly, earnings rate is, and says, why are you doing things? Are you doing things that you can have somebody do at a lower price than what it costs? You mowing your own lawn, and if you are into triple digits, four digits, wherever you're at, as far as what your hourly rate is, and you can have somebody that mows your lawn at $40 an hour or whatever it be, it's just a waste. And so there's a 4-to-1 formula where if what your hourly rate is, right, if it's down to like a quarter of what you're doing, there's no way to be doing it. And for what I recently done is one thing that drains me is I do all the cooking in our home. And it's just an agreement my wife and I, had over the years, and I really enjoy cooking. But I noticed that I'm working all day, and then afterwards to cook, it's draining for me. I get tired in the cooking, and then I like to cook good quality meals, which means you make a bigger mess because you got fresh ingredients, single ingredients, and I like to really measure my macros and my calories so I can stay healthy. And that it's a lot of work. And I finally really realized that, okay, what would it cost me to hire, a cook just to come in and just cook all my meals every single day? And it's like such a waste of time for me to be cooking my own meals. So I finally just hired a private cook that just comes in and just cooks our meals every day and just handles that. And not only that, but just cleaning the kitchen, putting everything away. So my kitchen is always perfect. And there's my meals sitting in my refrigerator every single day, and it takes me just minutes to be able to do. But the big thing was understanding not just the value of time, right, and money, but also there is your energy component. And Diane, that is crucial. And if you're running a business, if you're an entrepreneur, we work hard. We a home services contractor is running a company is working their tails off. And so for realizing, areas, are you doing things that are below your pay grade that you can pay somebody that is going to help you be more profitable? And it really is a good return on investment on time wise. Financially, it's a really great investment because that money I just bought back, I could put into my company and I can put that into growth and I can multiply that money many times over. And so now, not just from a financial perspective, it didn't make sense for me to be cooking my own meals and planning and shopping and buying, but the energy, when I get off work, I can just spend time with family, I can go on walks, I can go do things, and just the quality of life. So it's important as you're an entrepreneur to be auditing, not just watching your money, but watching your energy, right? Hiring the right people. And so when you think and you operate like that at that level, that's the difference between being able to really, have an edge versus always just being in a position where you can burn out. It's a burnout when you're doing the wrong things.
And I'm going to throw a caveat in there. Sometimes tasks like mowing the lawn are where some of us go to clear our head.
Mhm.
Just that mundane, I don't have to think about it. I just need to unplug for a bit. So some people might be thinking, but wait a minute, this is what I use that time for. And that's perfectly acceptable if that is your head clearing space. You enjoy working in your yard. Yes, it's not the best use of your time per se, but if it's your head clearing and it's your chance to reset for the week, then by all means, definitely enjoy mowing your lawn, working in your yard, those types of things. Because I know some people are energized by doing that type of work. I'm not one of them, but some people are.
Yeah, and you hit it right on the head. Does it drain you? Does it fill you up? Right?
Mhm.
If that is your zone place that you go to, yes, the money doesn't even matter at that
It
point,
doesn't
right?
matter.
You are freeing up your point. You're delegating the things that are draining you so that you can just put your headphones on, grab your iced tea, go do your yard, just sit back and enjoy it, right? It's not the thing, it's the component. Am I doing things that fill me up or am I doing things that draining me? And for me, it's like I love cooking. I really, really enjoy cooking. But what I realized is that day in, day out, every day and cleaning the kitchen was draining me. So I open it up to Sundays. Sundays, we have a family dinner where the whole family comes over. And that is my day where I am, man, cooking like crazy and making a great meal. But now, because I'm not burnt out all week long doing that, I can just be in that zone and have fun with that. So it's knowing yourself. So, so important. You've got to know yourself. It's crucial.
And I'm going to bring that back around to struggling with things. It's almost like pushing that proverbial boulder up the hill. If you're struggling to do things that are not in your zone of genius, and most of the time that falls in the marketing world and in the financial world, our two worlds is where it tends to fall. get yourself some help. Surround yourself with people who speak that language. It'd be like going to a foreign country and you know enough words to say, where's the bathroom and please and thank you type of thing. But surround yourself with people who speak that other language and then learn from them. I'm sure with Richard's book and other information he's got out there, you could learn a lot about marketing just by following him. Same thing with my books. For anybody who's watching this on YouTube, you can see 3 Mike Michalowicz books and 3 Diane books sitting there. That is my way of helping people understand their numbers and what the cause and effect is. If I pull this lever, this will happen on my financials. And understanding those numbers, and that can be a really scary thing because people look at it like, I'm not good at this. Well, as soon as you tell yourself, I'm not good at this, then it gives yourself permission to not be good at it. But instead, we flip our mindset around and say, I'm going to follow Richard for a while, or I'm going to follow Diane for a while, and just see what they have to say and soak it in. And now, when I have a conversation, I understand more of what the other person's saying, and I'm able to take bits and pieces of what I've learned and heard and now apply it in my business. And now they can come to somebody like you, and they may not have the whole language down, but they know enough that they can carry on a conversation. Or somebody like myself, we can carry on a conversation and find those weak areas in that business.
Absolutely.
So, what is another pitfall that they should be paying attention to?
You know, in digital marketing, I think another area that so many home services contractors will really struggle with is really understanding the power of LSAs, local service ads, Google Guarantee. It is such an incredible opportunity. I see so many that get stuck and that don't understand, why can't I get my LSAs to give me more leads? And what they wind up doing is they wind up giving up on it, thinking that that's all they can do with Google. LSAs are a program that Google has developed as a merit-based program where it's on your trust. There's two areas of renting online real estate. There's LSAs and then there's Google PPC, pay-per-click. Pay-per-click, you can spend all the money that you want. You can tell them, I want $10,000 a day, and they will take all of your $10,000 a day. They won't even send you a thank you card or Christmas card. But on LSAs, you can tell them, I want $10,000 a day worth of leads, and you can wind up getting $100 to $200 a day, and that's all they'll give you because it's merit based. The problem, the mistakes that I see is that they don't understand where it is that you're missing the merit. And this is where that pilot checklist comes into play, and the systems and processes is because if you cannot get Google to give you more local service ads, even though you're asking for more, you're increasing your budgets, it won't. There's a trust issue. Something is wrong where Google does not recognize you as the right authority. Something's wrong on your website, something's wrong in your presence. Somewhere there's a flag that has been triggered that says, hey, I don't trust you enough. So this is one of the mistakes that home service contractors make, is that they see that Google is limited. They're just trying to increase budgets or bids, thinking that that's going to do it. They almost treat it like PPC. It's not PPC. It's nowhere near in the same even universe. It is one where if it slows down, where many do, you have to be able to go look and say, what got missed? Somebody along the line has missed something. There's a gaping hole, and an audit would be this is a perfect time to say, hey, we need to go and audit. And again, in the book, it shows you the things to look for where some of those problems might be. If you will find those weaknesses, those areas that are causing a flag in Google. Again, it could be something as simple as just your web page speed is not fast enough, or you can have blocked pages on your website and not even know it. Well, because your a website page is blocked, when Google scans it, They don't know what's there. Google feels that they should be able to see every page on your website. Every week they send out bots to scrape every website. And if there's something that is blocked, then they consider that to be malicious. Something's there, pornography, whatever that might be. And so you get treated the same way. And every time I've run across a home services contractor who had blocked pages on their website, which I know subsequently was keeping them suppressed by Google, they never knew. It's like nobody ever told them. And so that's one of the areas of opportunity where if LSA is the cheapest, is the most affordable, and the best opportunity for what I call paid traffic. It's going to be a really big money maker, but if it's stuck, you can't buy your way out of it. You have to make sure that there are no errors. Big opportunity for any home services contractor to make sure that they pay attention to that and not just accept from a marketing agency saying, well, I guess that's all that they'll give us, or okay, let me see if I can bid more. No, that's not going to work. Use it as a clue and go looking to see what's wrong.
I've never even heard of anybody talking about your pages being blocked.
Mhm.
That's new information to me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very important. Everyone I talk to all the time, I will run a quick scan for them and I'll show them. I look for what's the speed? Is there anything blocked? Is there any duplicates that are on the page anywhere? Google hates duplicates. They don't want duplicate title tags, duplicate meta tags. They think that you're trying to fool them, and they don't like to be fooled by anybody. And so those are the really quick surface things that you have to be aware. Like ignorance is not an excuse. It's like I never knew. It doesn't matter to Google. You're required to know those things, because if you're being suppressed and you never know, you can't just hope that somebody's going to come along one day and be able to tell you. I mean, it'd be great if they do, but you have to know and read the signals. And if your traffic is blocked anywhere, there's something under the hood that is potentially wrong.
Wow. This has been an amazing, amazing topic today. It is time for us to go with our question, which is, there's some cash going in here. What is a hidden or unique profit leak that you see when you're working with plumbers and HVAC and others in the home service businesses?
Here's a really cool thing to take advantage of that not enough home service contractors are taking advantage of. And go look at Bing.
Okay.
Bing is everybody is running ads on Google Ads and Google LSA. Bing is sitting over here, and right now we are seeing the cost of leads coming in at less than 50% on the Bing side as they are in Google. But everybody is like locked into just focusing on Google, not looking on the outside, saying, hey, where is their opportunity? Again, he who can acquire the most leads at the least cost is going to win, is scalable that way. And Bing is always, it's a little brother to Google. It doesn't have the mass volume, but right now we're able to get leads at such an affordable cost. They're on sale. And so when you're devising your opportunity, don't leave that off the table. Bing also has a variation of Google's local service ads that you can jump in also. So when you're really wanting to make sure that you are using your money wisely, and anybody who works with you, Diane, it's probably why they want to work with you, right? They want good financial advice. They're trying to use their money wisely. That applies down to marketing. Where is my money going to be able to be most best efficiently spent? And so make sure that you'll go down, take a look at Bing. Yes, it takes a little bit more work to run a secondary campaign, but it's worth it if we can help bring your marketing costs down. That's my tip for you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Richard, should somebody go if they want to get a copy of your book, The Profit Making Plumber, or if they just want to learn more about you? They've been wowed by this interview. Where should they go? Where can they find out more about you?
Awesome. So on Amazon, the Profit Making Plumber, the book is right on there that you can order. And you can call or text me at 940-204-0214. or visit my website at plumbermarketingusa.com.
Thank you so much. And that will also be in the show notes if you're driving or jogging or whatever you might be doing. We'll have the information in the show notes for you. As always, we always have a free giveaway for you, so be sure and check the show notes and see what we're offering this week. It changes on a regular basis, so you want to get out there and get your free gift from us as well. Because together, with all of my podcast guests and myself, we are really working hard to make your business more profitable, because we all know it's not necessarily how much comes in on that top line revenue number, but it's how much of that you're able to keep coming out of the bottom line number. That's your most important number. So thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Profitable Home Services Podcast. I know your time is valuable. Thank you for choosing to share some of it with us today, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you.